Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hey, look, we're at the weekend, right? We made it. We did it. So we've been talking all week basically about just different things, primarily sports. I tried to focus on sports this week, but talked about a lot of issues that would pertain to racism or, pseudo, just kind of surface stuff. Didn't really get crazy deep. But it was primarily, based off of, to me, certain issues that were going on, primarily centered around football for this week, and also about the Carmelo Anthony case down in Texas. So, I hope that if you get a chance, watch one of them if you haven't already, and, leave your comment and how you feel about the situation. But what I kind of wanted to talk to about today, let me see. 100 friends equals 9 views. 100 friends and family equals 20 views. So, hey, listen, like I always say, if it's just 5 of us watching, guess what we're going to do? We're going to keep going. But I would like to say one thing, because I know a lot of times, and shout out to one of my buddies, Jason Terry. We had a long spirited conversation about some things as far as racism is concerned. And, the one thing that he brought up to me is that, we get in such an outrage over anything else that other races do to black people, but rarely do we get incensed about things that happen to us, to each other, right? And, so I said to him, we had a lot of back and forth about a lot of stuff. But, I have, and growing up, just like many people, growing up in a city, in a major city, in an inner city, you get desensitized to a lot of things. And one thing I told another friend of mine is that, it's almost the mentality of I am my brother's keeper, right? So it's kind of like, I could talk about my brother, I could talk about my sister, but you can't, right? So, there's always that kind of mentality where, you feel like, hey, I look, listen, you know what I mean? I know she get on your nerves. I know such and such and such and such, but that's my sister. That's my aunt. That's my mom. So we're not even playing those kind of games. So, even looking at it from that aspect, sometimes you say to yourself, wow, there's a lot of stuff that happens in, especially, black communities, especially things that get reported on. And, where's Black Lives Matters? Where's other people who stand up and talk about that the same way they talk about other hate crimes or things that are racially motivated? And one conclusion that I came up to is that when you are in a situation as a race, as a group, as anything, where you are disenfranchised. And what I mean by that is that, like, I was talking once again to another friend and just saying how, hey, listen, everything that's made, even money, no money has anybody's black face on it or anything like that. So when you have a group of people that do feel, and I don't want to use the word oppressed, but do feel, like I said, disenfranchised, you are going to have people who rebel and who feel as though when something from another culture does something to someone from the black culture, there is a swift backlash. And I'm telling you, it's no different from any, people who are Jewish, other cultures, ethnicities, even Asians. They have a lot of Asian rights, executive orders that have been put in place. So you have groups that are deemed protected, that are minorities that who have had rights before taken away from them, people abusing them, killing them, treating them unfairly. But back to being black. And this is what I will say, because the one thing I do love about talking to you, talking about this kind of stuff is that, it gives me an opportunity to express some things. Hopefully, it's things that could be relatable to you in some type of way. Things that, sometimes just honestly just, want to get off of my chest. Just even like with the comment I made earlier, where as though you have friends, and, I'm going to do some comparison videos next week, but So you have friends, and you know, I'm not gonna lie to you. Most of my friends are black or African American. The people who I used to work with are predominantly black or African American, and you know, sometimes it is a little frustrating. It's frustrating when, you know, you as a person, you want to try to do something positive. Because, you know, people always say, you know, I remember when I used to, like, a couple of young ladies I used to talk to and always run my mouth like how I run my mouth now. And they say, well, you know what you going to do? You going to go out there and do something about it? And I used to say, whoa, wait a minute. I used to work at this group called AmeriCorps. You just don't know, girl. Like, we used to be out there cleaning, you know, painting over graffiti. Like, I've done a bunch of community service, you know. Shout out me and the homie Rayvon Sapp. We did a lot of community service, right? So we've done things, you know, especially earlier in life, and it's a continual thing. I've worked at soup kitchens. I've done a variety of different things to try to help out the community, our community. And sometimes what happens is that, you know, because I think just about most of I know all of my core friends have subscribed. But, you know, what I want them to do is that, and I want you and I want other people to continue to watch, because, you know, we're just going to get better. We're going to try to do different things coming up. But I bring all this up to say that a lot of times we focus a lot on what other cultures do to black people, as opposed to some of the things that we do to ourselves. And I've talked about this before, but the bigger thing is that, you know, like I said before, a couple weeks ago, you know, showing up when you don't want to, just taking the time out. You know, I've asked people just to, and I give it to them. A lot of people have done it. You know, just take the time out. I mean, I get it. Who wants to sit and listen to a guy who's just a guy talk for 10 minutes, right? 15 minutes. But the thing is that I'm talking because I'm hopeful that it will resonate with someone to where, you know, you feel inspired, you feel better about yourself, you feel like, yo, you know what, I can do that, or I'm going through that, or guess what, I've been through that. So Greg, let me put in the comments, hey, look, this is the way I navigated, you know, was able to navigate through those things. But the thing is that, you know, and I've said this to another one of my friends, actually my barber, Will Butts, shout out to him if you're watching, because, you know, you got to catch up on some videos too, is that you need your community behind you, right? You need your community of people behind you saying, hey, listen, you know, we're gonna push you. We're gonna push you forward. We're gonna help you do. And I know people had their critiques there, you know, this and that and all that other kind of stuff. And I respect that and appreciate that. But guess what? You know, the first thing is that you gotta watch. You got to just, you know, click on the video. Like I said, I don't make them long because I know most people, including me, our attention spans don't go, you know, but so long. But, you know, I try to make them nice, short, succinct, and, you know, message driven, because I think that it's important to want to wrap your arms around, you know, whatever community you're in. Right, whatever community you're in, you want to be able to wrap your arms around those people, because the thing is that before you can start being great to other people, you have to be great to yourself first. And that really is important, especially when you're deemed a minority in any particular situation. You have to be able to say, hey, listen, you know, I'm going to make sure that, you know, if there's something coming up, a birthday party, baby shower, or whatever, and that if you really can make it, you know, you try to show up. So I'm not going to go that far back down about the show up thing again, but, you know, you want to make sure that you try to do it. And lastly, what I'll say is that there are just, in every culture, and in the black culture, because that's what I'm talking about today, just great, dynamic people. Great people, talented people, a lot of great people who I've met and had the chance to be around. And, you know, like I said, just good guys. I got fortunate because, you know, most of the people that are in my group, except for me, are married, and a couple other guys are married. And, you know, for me, it makes me feel good because I feel like, you know, I've surrounded myself with decent people. I've tried to stay decent myself, Because that's another thing too. We all want to be around decent, good people, right? But are we decent ourselves? Have we been decent ourselves? Have we shown gratitude to our friends and family? Have we? I mean, I know I've fallen short before, but I'm also cognizant of it also. And I try to make up or make better if I actually did miss out or didn't do something right. Right. So, I just say to people, hey, listen, if you can try to, it starts first with your own community. You start with your own community, trying to make life better, trying to do things in a better way. All right. So that's all I'm going to leave you with this weekend. Just a little something. And let's get ready and geared up for next week. So, hey, look, if it's only 8 of us, if it's only 9 of us rocking until next week, this crazy dog is barking. That's OK. If there's only 8 or 9 of us rocking until next week, that's what we're going to rock out with. But hey, I want you to go out there, enjoy your weekend, do something fun. And like I always say, do something good for yourself. And if it makes you feel good, do something good for somebody else. Go out and buy yourself a pair of sneaks. I don't know. Don't go buying that Dubai chocolate stuff because one of my daughters got an allergic reaction from it. No, I'm just joking. But if you don't eat pistachios, don't do it. But yeah, go out and do something good for yourself. Go out and do something good for somebody else. And like I always say, if you got somebody that's in your circle, that's in your group, that's in your family, and you heard them talking about they might need a little help or something like that, reach out to them and say, yo, you need a little something, you need me to come through. Because like I always say, it's always easier to point the blame and the focus negativity on other races or other communities. But the question always is, how good are you taking care of your community? And I'm not even talking about people outside of your family in intermediate circles. How good are you taking care of them? How good are you taking care of yourself? Because without you taking care of yourself and your immediate family and your circle, you're not going to be able to do much for anybody else, right? But hey, it's just my opinion. But until next time, have a good weekend. Live life. Don't let life live you.